What was the most bad escape you've ever made? Back when I was 19, I went to Disney with my family. I am the youngest of 4 children and all of my siblings and their so's were of age. So my brothers and sister decided to take me to downtown Disney one night in the hopes I can party with them. One of my brothers pulled the sneak they hid under the table when our waiter at some restaurant was checking ages. It worked, though I don't think we fooled him. I think he just gave me a break. Here I am 19 in downtown Disney with a will to drink as much as I want in his particular bar, so naturally we start hammering car bombs. I am plastered within the hour, and my siblings and I end up at this club with a revolving dance floor. My sister-in-law decided that she did not want to drink anymore, so she took off her bracelet and hacked it onto my wrist, which worked, and I was getting served at the revolving floor or club. Next thing I know, I am dancing with the hottest girl in the place. I am a bit of a nerd, so this is pretty new to me at the time. We are dancing away. I have a drink in my hand when I feel this strong grasp on my shoulder. Disney police. May have been a security guard, I have no idea. To this day. I was trashed. My hacked bracelet had fallen off and this guy is asking for my ID. I tell him I don't have it on me and he said I had to go with him to the Disney police station. I don't know where this came from, but the following words came out of my mouth: lead the way. The guard took my words too seriously and led the way. I immediately did a 180 while ripping off my hat and shirt. I had an undershirt on and stuffed them in my pants for a quick disguise. You know that song where everyone gets in a line and the singer is going to the left, right step now. I don't know the name of it. Well, that song is playing and the whole club is dancing in tune to it while I am moving my way through the crowd on a revolving floor while a crap ton of security guards or police officers are looking for me. This goes on for a couple minutes before one of my brothers finally finds me and helps me to a side exit. I told him to hold on and I merged back into the line dance to score the hot girl's number. I escaped with the number and 7 years later her and I are still together. Do you know that I give you money for uploading my videos to TikTok, and the one who gains the most views in a month gets an extra $1,000? More details on my Discord server, link in the comments. I'm cruising down a highway when I see a cop go in the other direction. I look down and, yep, 12 over the speed limit. I make the first left turn and look back to see the cop bang a Yui as I turn. I speed down the road, hightail it up a dirt driveway, park the car, and turn everything off. I really didn't need to do that since it was broad daylight, but I was over-precautious. Sure enough, the cop speeds down the road past my driveway with his lights on. My one luck with that whole thing was it had just rained, so the dirt in the driveway hadn't kicked up. I left momentarily after the cop drove down the road. It might not be a big deal, but I can't begin to describe how milquetoast I can be and how rarely I do these little maneuvers. Okay, so it seems that milquetoast has caused quite a stir. I'm glad my choice of words today has sent some of you into a quixotic tizzy. Milquetoast, a very timid, unassertive, spineless person, especially one who is easily dominated or intimidated. A milquetoast who's afraid to ask for a raise. I used it as an adjective, which goes against its lonely noun status, so I hope Merriam and Webster won't try to back me up. One of my greatest college moments was a lucky escape. I was having a really crappy day and was waiting for the city bus after a rough day of classes. I just wanted to get home, get my buzz on, and game a little bit. I was waiting for the bus on a one-way street. Before the bus got there, an SUV with 3 frat guys had pulled up, and they had their window down and were making fun of some guy at the bus stop. It's been 8 years maybe, so I can't remember exactly what they were saying to him, but I think he was foreign, possibly an exchange student, but they were blowing this guy a whole lot of crap. As I mentioned, I was already having a bad day, and these guys caught me at the wrong time or something. I'm not confrontational, and I've never been in a fight in my life, but at this moment I was heated. So the light turns green and the guy riding is hanging out the window and talking crap as they drive away. In a moment of blind rage, I picked up their nearest thing to me, which ended up being a half-drank Starbucks coffee from that morning or something, and sidearmed this thing right at this car. And wouldn't you know it, it was a direct hit on this guy as they are driving away. At some point the lid came off the coffee. I'm not sure if it was before it hit him or afterwards, but this cold coffee ended up splashing all inside the moving vehicle as they were turning left through this light. I can only hope it sprayed the other in there as well. If it was CS, it would have been a heck of an aid toss. Everyone else waiting for the bus cheered me. The car kept going and hung another left, I could tell, and I assumed was going to circle the block and come back after me. I was like, well, it's on now. Hopefully someone at this bus stop gets my back, but let's do this. Just then, not one, but 2 city buses pull up at the exact same time, 2 different routes. This happened occasionally, but was pretty rare from my experiences waiting there, but that day my luck had finally changed. I hop on the one that will take me home and make my escape. As we pull away, I look out the window and see the car I had hit driving frantically and following the other bus that was going a different direction. I can only hope that they followed that thing for every stop and had waiting for me to get off, and wasted another couple hours of their time. It was truly one of the greatest moments of my life. They probably beat the crap out of the immigrant guy who got on the other bus. My uncle was on the 91st floor of the South WTC Tower, felt and saw a plane crash into the North Tower. He and the two people he was with got the heck out of there as fast as they could. He was about half a block away when the second plane hit. I'd say that's probably better than any escape I personally experienced. My mom said he took both elevators down. So I was in a college football game visiting my sibling as a teenager. I was drinking quite a bit since this was a college that had excellent tailgating. Also, I had brought a bag of herb with me. I don't know why I brought a bag of herb with me besides the fact that I was smoking with friends before tailgating. Anyways, my sister was able to find me a student ID so that I could sit with her and my friends who attended the same college in the student section. After drinking quite a bit, I stumbled to the entrance to the stadium and sat in line to get in. At the front of the line, the security was searching people for hidden flasks because the stadium sold beer and clearly the college wanted to make money. I, as the drunk youngin I was, forgot about the in my pocket. The security, unfortunately, found it. So there I was, caught by security being dragged up to the police table. The cop at the table called for a squad car to come pick me up. At that time, I felt like a trapped animal, sweat and anxiety rushing over me. The security guy, on orders from the cop, pushed me over to the street to wait for the squad car. However, the street was so packed that the squad car would most likely be a couple of minutes. As we stood next to the barricades, a recent mother was attempting to push her stroller through the divide. I, in my drunk mind, decided this was it. I leaned back against the hand of the security guard to make room for the mother, and he, luckily, responded to my movement by also moving back. As soon as she made it through the barricade, I jumped the divide and ran faster than I had ever run. I sprinted through the crowd, weaving between other drunk fans, hearing their remarks as I passed, knowing that the security guard was behind me but losing distance. I made it through the first rough patch, ripped off my sweatshirt, and continued. I slowed as the alcohol began to take its toll on my endurance, but was cheered on by a couple of drunk guys who yelled, "You can do better than that." Encouraged, I picked up speed, rounded a corner, and dove between some parked cars, waiting to see if the security guard had made the distance. Luckily, he did not. After a couple of minutes, I stood up, shaking like heck, and walked across the street off campus. I then proceeded to violently throw up what seemed like the past couple days of food behind an apartment building. To this day, I try to imagine what went through the security guard's head as he chased this drunk kid for a couple of blocks. I sometimes wish I could talk to him about what was a very significant action in my life, how he felt if he had given up to allow me to go, if he was stopped by that encouraging group of drunks, if he was embarrassed to lose me. But then I take a deep breath as I realize how lucky I was to not have ruined my life that day. I was on the edge of my seat. That was awesome. A few years ago, I was on holiday in Thailand with a couple of mates. We were out one night drinking when I randomly meet this Thai girl who offered me an illicit substance. Now being rather intoxicated, I thought, why the heck not? She said, come back to my place and staying in a hotel around the corner. Thought it was legit, said sure. Now we leave the club and go to her scooter. I had never ridden a scooter in my life and couldn't really stand. She asked me to drive. I said sure, got about 2 meters before falling flat on the side. She then thought it would be best to drive. So she is driving, I'm on the back thinking, oh yeah, it'll only be a 5-minute drive or so, and was like, this will be rad. 5 minutes go past, we didn't arrive. 10 minutes, nope, not there yet. 15 minutes, still not there yet. At this point, I'm starting to get a little worried as every minute goes past, we get further and further away from civilization and deeper into the bush. A full 45 minutes later, we're in the middle of the bush at some shack. At this point, I had sobered up a little bit and was thinking something isn't right here. We get off the scooter and she takes me inside and tells me to sit on the couch while she goes into another room. As I sit down to wait, I start to hear all the voices from the other room. Quite a few male voices. Right then I started to freak out. I had read and heard of enough stories about situations like this to know that the outcome will most likely not be good for myself, so I decided to leg it. I got up off a couch and just ran. I had no idea where I was or where I was running to, but I had to go. It was pitch black outside, being the bush and all, and I just kept running in the one direction hoping for anything. After about 5 to 10 minutes of running, I see a light in the distance. I make it to the light to find some old Thai guy sitting on his porch smoking or something. He couldn't speak a word of English but knew I shouldn't be where I was. The guy drove me back into town and to the police station. As I got there, I tried to tell them what had happened. They ignored me and told me to get lost. I somehow made it back to my hotel from the cop shop. At about 8 a.m., I ran straight down to the beach and jumped in fully clothed. This post is littered with grammatical errors and spelling mistakes. Hope it wasn't too unbearable. One night, we had firecrackers. A lot of firecrackers. Around 4 a.m., we decide to go to the local elementary school and light them off. We're going crazy, having so much fun with it, when my friend remarks, "You know, this kind of sounds like we're shooting g***s." At that moment, a police cruiser pulls into the parking lot. He flashes his lights once. We all bolt. We start running through the field and over fences. I look over the fence and notice that there were 3 cop cars. Stopped, they seem to be talking to each other. 2 of them lead with lights flashing, and 2 officers get out of the other one and start bolting towards us. We run, fast. We figure the cops will head towards the road, so we run parallel hopping fences until we can go away from it. At one point, the cops were gaining, so we split up. 1 cop followed each group. I headed towards a large park. Suddenly, I hear growling. The biggest dog ever. It's looking at me. It's angry. I freeze up and the cop catches up to me. He's coming towards me when I say, "Dude, no. There is a pit bull right there, and it is not happy. I'll come with you, just don't make any sudden movements." We begin to back away. Slowly, the cop motions me towards a gate. I go first, and he stands guard. As soon as I'm out that gate, I bolt again. I felt bad, but the cop was not going to catch me. There was no way he could move fast enough to not pee off that dog. I got away. The cop was really crazy. She could hear him lumbering around while I hid in some trees swearing. Around 15 minutes later, he finds out that some of my friends are cornered and goes to help them out. One friend got caught and charged with a misdemeanor. He ratted new and out. If you haven't watched my other videos, then be sure to watch this one. I bet it will amaze you. Or you can watch all our videos in a row in this playlist. Write your stories in the comments, subscribe, turn on the bell, and go to our Discord. There we give you money for uploading our videos to TikTok. You uploaded, you gain views, you got money. Link in the comments.